Oh, hi everyone, it's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all being kind to yourself, you're being kind to your family and friends, being kind to your animals, your putty cats, your dogs, or whatever animal you have, and just being kind to people in the world, in your world, in the world to make it a happier and nicer place. I hope everyone had a great Christmas, and I hope you all have a happy and very safe New Year. Thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel, and thank you very much for supporting Kickstarter. We did reach our target of 15,000 euro. We have it on until I think the last day, the 30th and 30th of December, and then it's finished. So I thought I'd just today do a Ripple update just of the news from the 11th of December to the 30th of December. So just going through the slides. Just had a Twitter fan person that basically listed this. It was a tweet. Said there's been a lot of successes in the Ripple ecosystem, and essentially mainly highlighted the integrations and mentioned some where there's an adoption of XRapid by Senfren and R3 choosing XRP as the first settlement mechanism for Quartus settler. And the tweet also was talking about Kava Labs, X-Spring Funds, Moja Loop launches Mowali, Solstice, Enterbillion, Senfriend Inc., Bitstamp, and Inside R3. With that Twitter, this person had like a great, graph and just a whole lot of things here. And it's very hard to see, but if you can get that tweet, it's a really awesome, display of all their ecosystems and just, where they're connected to OnePay, Bitstamp, Bittrex, RippleNet Integrators, R3, SBI Holdings. It just goes on, and it's really, really super. If you look at the next one, basically the Hyperledger, we're talking about Kava, Mowali, Major Loop, all sorts of things there. So have a look at that Twitter handle. Also, there was another story about a developer creates an app. This was XRP 2_0. He's created an app where you can do a series commands within using your iPhone or your iPad, doing some commands or voice commands where you can do some trades on the exchanges with specific trading pairs, which I think is pretty amazing. Something about an app that works, it tries to locate an XRP tip bot, and then you specify your amount and you can actually send XRP, which I think is incredible. This particular person's working on more features for this app in the future, which I think is a really innovative type of functionality in itself. If you go to the next slide, Coinbase still haven't added XRP, and it's pretty strange if they haven't. Yes, they've listed XRP with a lot of other coins, about 30 odd different coins and tokens, but it does seem very strange why they haven't added XRP, particularly when XRP is the second largest crypto now and has incredible utility, has incredible networks integration, as you've just seen, and has incredible clients. It's very, very surprising. And as this person said, Larry CMAC, he said, listing Civic and Mana is a total joke. Coinbase is losing all the credibility, and I must admit I tend to agree with that. I have no idea why they just won't add XRP when so many exchanges have. They've added Loom Network, District, Ox, and Decentraland. Don't forget they put on Ethereum Classic, and that had a hack. They put on other coins and tokens before XRP, and it just honestly doesn't make sense to me. And I haven't liked Coinbase myself. I don't use them, and sure as hell I won't be using them going forward, because I just think they really have lost a lot of credibility. And Brian Armstrong, the founder of Coinbase, I don't know why he has delayed so much not putting on XRP, which is the only coin with the technology of Ripple that can settle things instantly, no matter where in the world, in terms of what currency or even different types of assets. So it amazes me that he hasn't yet done this. Just beyond my belief, to be honest. If we go to the next slide, there was something about South Korea and Ripple. South Korea is one of the biggest markets for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Besides being a very small nation, there's apparently over 2 million traders in the crypto space, and Coin One is one of the biggest exchanges in South Korea. And apparently they have they've got a subsidiary called Coin One Transfer, and they've launched a blockchain powered with Ripple technology, which is great in itself. And they've enabled connections with the Siam Commercial Bank in Thailand and Cebuana Lulia in the Philippines. So apparently, there's a lot of remittance done, which enables them to do this remittance straight away without having to rely on SWIFT, which can take days on end, and sometimes the money just doesn't show up. So the next thing we look at it here. Oh, whoops, sorry. What have we done there? We've gone too far as usual. Oops, back. I've got to learn this technology sometimes. So another one is Ripple is everywhere. Ripple has expanded and it keeps expanding. Ross Darcy, who's also a sales director in Europe, basically has talked about Ripple expanding in Poland, in Brazil, the Middle East, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Don't forget they're in China. They're basically everywhere. He did state the future of funds movement is west to east, and that is why the emerging markets is a strong point. So they're also looking at emerging markets. Ripple, fast and cheap, Swift, slow, loses transactions and can be hacked. Coin Coca-Cola has officially listed XRP, and it's one of the biggest over-the-counter marketplaces, which is great. Also, there was a story about a lot of volume being done with Ripple, and it barely costs you anything in terms of costs. There was another story re Swift, how Swift, we know has been hacked. They've lost so much money, whether it be in the bank in Bangladesh or other banks in the past. But also, Crypto Daily was citing some stories about, one fellow was sending some money to his mother in Russia, and it was supposed to take, they got told it was supposed to take 3 days, and it took 3 months later it was still in transit and location unknown. There was another story where money was supposed to go to a St. Paul's Children's Project to pay school fees for orphans in Zambia, and apparently the money never arrived. So this is the SWIFT system, which is a 1973 old system, and the system many a time just doesn't work. And I'm amazed that the banks still use SWIFT, and they still charge incredible fees for using SWIFT, and we all get charged those incredible fees. Just incredible. It just blows my mind that the banking system is still using SWIFT. Also, what else we got? Ripple are now in partnership with an industry player, Currency Direct. They're also, again, I mentioned the Coin One story. American Express are doing more successful test launches with Ripple. Carlos Carrillo, the managing director of American Express, said the digital technology of Ripple is incredible, and it is. It is #1 cryptocurrency in my mind. It really is a game changer. I believe it's bigger than the internet, and I've said that many times before. David Schwartz was cited in ABIN Crypto. Obviously is the guru of Ripple technology, and he basically was talking about the XRP ecosystem and comparing it with Bitcoin, which we know is proof of work, and he said it basically doesn't work, and I'd agree with that. He basically said the Bitcoin ledger uses proof of work where the miners have to work out obviously the crypto encryption. They all compete with each other to work out that crypto encryption very quickly. Then they have to, there's a fixed resource within the system, and basically they're actually competing with each other. And if the system gets busy, they increase those fees that the clients have to pay, and you never know when your transaction's actually going to be processed. And I do agree with this, exactly what he said here. The fact is, you're basically taking away from the system. Doing Bitcoin costs so much in electrical costs. It's cost so much in resources, and Bitcoin itself has to be at a certain price for these miners to get paid. Otherwise, miners have to start closing down their mining rigs, because it just doesn't become economical with the electrical prices, electricity prices they have to use to use their ASIC machines and that sort of thing. He said that Ripple in itself and the XRP ledger was a cooperative system where all people work together for the advancement of the system and to improve the stability of the network, as distinct from Bitcoin, where the system itself is not stable because it is reliant on miners. Those miners can be monopolistic miners. There's only 4 very large miners. They have to make money from the system for it to work, to pay their electricity bills and the like. And if they don't, then they have to close down their rigs. And so they're all in competition with the Bitcoin protocol and system to try and get access to the transaction, to try and work out the encryption with proof of work, get access to the transaction, and then to validate the transaction. And it actually makes the system more unstable. And I do agree with that absolutely, because the thing is, the bottom line is, with Bitcoin, you don't know how much it's going to cost you, and you don't know when your transaction's actually going to be processed. And it could take 30 minutes, it could take 24 hours, and you don't know how much the system is going to be queued. Now, we've seen this with Ethereum, where transactions, when Ethereum gets busy, when there was Ethereum kitties, transactions were backed up and logged up, and nothing was getting processed. And the costs of transacting through Ethereum were going through the roof, and that's not good for the paying client, or for waiting for the settlement of Ethereum either. He goes on to say that the Genesis Ledger and XRP were created in 2012, and he basically said that the proof of work doesn't really work because the miners will have high expenses when you've got the cost of ASIC and power to be taken into consideration. Now, ASIC are obviously the costs of the computer systems that they've got, and the computer system with the graphic cards and all this sort of business. There's more costs to that as well. And he effectively said that money is being sucked out of the economic ecosystem as the miners start selling due to the high costs of mining. And I totally agree with that. Another story, Ripple will power blockchain payments for a global remittance company in the United Arab Emirates that moves 30 billion, yes, a year, which is a lot. Ripple has gone to the Middle East, and it doesn't surprise me. The Middle East is very, very wealthy. The Middle East, as I've said, has got one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world. It's a very, very wealthy area, particularly the UAE. Again, the UAE is one of the largest and oldest money transfer houses in the Middle East. And also Ripple has, as a client, National Bank of Ras Al Khaimah and Kuwait Finance House. And again, these are very, very big clients. Also with the Middle East, they have a lot of money going to and from to Asia. They have a lot of employees working, or their populace working overseas, and there's a lot of money going back or forward to different countries or back to the United Arab Emirates. So there's a big expat population relative to the native population. Also, Ripple's had Malaysia Commerce International Merchant Bankers join, and that's the 5th biggest bank in the Southeast Asia by assets. So again, they're getting some very, very big clients joining that would be paying for their technology of Ripple, which wouldn't be cheap, and the ongoing maintenance of that technology. So Ripple would be getting in all this revenue from all these different clients, okay? CIMB, this group CIMB network already spans 15 countries and has nearly 800 branches and offers Speed Send, one of the best solutions in the Asian region. So they integrate Ripple's blockchain technology, and this will enable the clients to send funds and to loved ones very, very quickly. So pretty amazing in itself. Also, this includes another bank in India called Kotak Mahindra Bank, and this is a huge bank in India as well. Now, India, as you know, has got a population of 1.2 billion, so it's one of the most densely populated countries in the world besides China. So Ripple is expanding in some very, very big markets, as I said, and the UAE exchange has over 140 banks and has a presence in 31 countries. And, you know, it's huge business for Ripple. The remittance market last year was something like 256 billion, and that's a big market in itself. And the World Bank projections for that remittance market in the next couple of years is about 642 billion. So they expect to go live with Ripple by the first quarter of 2019 with one or two Asian banks, and it's going to go, you know, from across the globe into Asia as well. So Ripple's pretty much expanding everywhere. There was another story that Akbank, a Turkish bank, has announced that it's using Ripple's blockchain technology to transfer British pound to UK Santander Bank from Turkey. Santander Bank is also a client of Ripple's. Also, GMT, Israel's largest and leading financial services company, announced in their blog that they are authorized in using Ripple's blockchain technology. They have 250 branches, and they mentioned they're joining the likes of MoneyGram, American Express, CIBC, Earthport, Akbank, and many others that are authorized to use the Ripple's platform. There was another story that Ripple has also been added to a leading travel website called Travala, and this is using Ripple as a payment method. And apparently Travala is in something like 200 nations across the globe as well, which is great in itself, because it just means more utility for XRP effectively. Ripple's also, as I said, been listed on many different exchanges. There was a Bank of England poll that revealed XRP and some other cryptos were the most favorite way of receiving money. Another one talking about whether Western Union is really ready for XRP. Also, there was another thing where Ripple CEO names 4 exchanges that will help track XRapid volume, XRapid, Bitstamp, Bittrex, Coins.ph, and Bitso. And another story where Ripple has also, and I might have mentioned this before, it's a Philippine-based pawn shop, and the signature brand of PJ Lua group of companies is another client as well. Ripple is getting, there's a lot more exchanges that are taking on XRP as a base and also as pairs. And Binance just put on XRP as a trading pair against Tron, but also against US dollars. Also, they're now on eToro as well, and they're being adopted by Bitrue as well. And on Bitrue, they're actually a base. They're using XRP as the base, which is great. Another thing which I thought was very interesting is Visa. Visa Card have just announced an acquisition of Earthport, and Earthport basically has a connection with RippleNet, and they've been a client of Ripple since 2014. So Visa have just acquired Earthport for £198 million, which I thought was quite interesting. And I'm just wondering what Visa are going to do with Earthport, and whether they're going to still keep that connection with RippleNet. And maybe that's a way Visa are integrating with RippleNet technology. And what they sort of sometimes call this in the share market is almost like a backdoor listing. You know, you take someone over and then you basically take over all their functionality. And I think that's quite interesting, the fact that Earthport uses Ripple's technology and is a partner with Ripple Labs. So, and Visa's just acquired them. So I think that would have been a fairly strategic move for Visa, absolutely, given that they cannot instantly settle cash the way XRP or the way Ripple does, particularly. The exchanges that I mentioned, there was a couple more as well. There's an Australian exchange, BTC XR. Now, I've never heard of this one, an Australian-based cryptocurrency exchange, and it's announced that it's going to use XRP as the base pairs on the exchange. So I'm not familiar with this exchange here at all, but I think they're very smart in using XRP as the base, because as you know, XRP can instantly settle, and it doesn't surprise me that exchanges are going this way. There was another report on Twitter about someone moving 90 million of XRP tokens between two unknown wallets, something like $33 million worth. And, we're starting to see huge volumes of XRP go through different wallets. And I'm wondering whether it's, fund managers that are moving stuff or banks or whatever it might be. But it is XRP and it's big, big volumes. 90 million is a lot. It's 33 million, but yes, it's still 90 million in coins. BitTrue, as I mentioned before, are using XRP as a base. And I got this from BitTrue themselves on Twitter. And as you can see, they're using all these as a base against BHC, ETC, and the like. So, which is fantastic. And I think that's great. And I think we're seeing a lot of exchanges do that. And I've always said that XRP will be #1 cryptocurrency. And in my mind, in 2019, it's just a given. They will be #1. I have no doubt about that. And again, this is not financial advice. I don't know your risk or anything like that. Not financial advice. I don't have a financial advice license. But I do believe XRP down here at this level, where can you buy anything, honestly, for 36 cents? Anything in the world. Seriously, you can't even buy an apple in Australia for 36 cents. I can't even these days buy a toothpicks or a box of matches for 36 cents. And this is the latest, life-changing technology. It just amazes me. It blows my mind that it can still be so cheap. Next story we've got here is, and this could be hearsay or it could be just absolute garbology, but, there was something, that I picked up in just the press that Google and Ripple, someone's talking that maybe there's some connection there. I don't know how or why, but it was in the press. Obviously it's not true, but, Google haven't been in the cryptocurrency market. They don't seem to be doing anything. But there was an article saying, could there be some interest in XRP? And, look, it's just something we need to keep an eye on, basically, particularly because this fellow, how do you pronounce his name? Sarah Hagangi, who was, a big head honcho, was working for Google. He joined there in 2015 and just left to go to Ripple, which is interesting. So, Google Pay is still linked to credit cards and PayPal and, mobile payments and this sort of thing. But again, it's not instant payment technology. And honestly, they're just behind the curve. This technology, in the next 2 years is going to take over the world by storm. As, Christine Lagarde from the International Monetary Fund said, money by its very nature is changing its nature. It's becoming digital. And so did Brad Garlinghouse. The nature of money is changing. It's becoming digital. And we should expect to see money, in our account instantly. I'm still waiting for money from PayPal and from, from other accounts, and it's been the Christmas holidays and everything, and money that got sent, on the 23rd of December. I still haven't seen it in my account, and it's the 30th of December now. Money should be as instant as an email, seriously, or quicker. So I agree with Christine Lagarde, the head of the International Monetary Fund, that money should be instant, instant settlement. And Ripple has that technology to do that. And Google Pay, one of the largest companies in the US, should be there. Honestly, it should be there. Using outdated systems like Swift and PayPal and this sort of thing. It's just it's basically the horse and buggy scenario. Why use the horse and buggy scenario when you could have the speedboat like Ripple's technology? If we go to, now there was something, Panda, let me just go back. And again, this is from Twitter. Panda Ripple XRP, and I always acknowledge where I get my references from. A Twitter person said that exchanges with XRapid integration, Bitrus Exchange, Bitstamp, Bitso, Coins, PH, Civic, SB Vic, Official, and XRapid are going to be Quindex HQ and BitTrue Official, and also Kraken has just launched XRP margin trading and paired against US dollars and euro. Also, another thing just came out on Twitter 5 hours ago. Big One will open XRP against US dollar Tether and XRP to Bitcoin trading as well, which is super. So XRP is getting on so many more exchanges, and a lot of exchanges, it's actually becoming the base currency, which is fantastic. Today, the 30th, which is the 30th in Australia, there's another story. SBI Ripple Asia Partners and Daily Financial Group. They've signed a partnership agreement with Daily Intelligent, a subsidiary of Daily Financial Group, and to bring cross-border payments to the South Korean market. And again, the South Korean market, as we've said, is a huge, huge market. And apparently it has trade flows of something like 960 billion a year. And the demand, they see that growing even higher and higher. So, look, Ripple is, cutting edge technology. Seriously, it will have global domination. It's going everywhere. Europe, emerging markets, Africa, Asia, America, it's going everywhere, and it will be number one. I think it's as big as the internet. It's clear that Ripple is intending to have global domination. They have the product, the technology that works over and above any cryptocurrency out there. I've looked at hundreds of technology and cryptos, and XRP and Ripple's technology is the best. It is a technological revolution. The average person doesn't even know about it. It will take over the world, and Ripple will be number one. And I said that 2 years ago, and I will say it again. XRP will be number one. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps. Have a great new year, a safe one. Please be kind to yourself. Look after yourselves. Be good to yourself. Be good to your family. Be good to your parents, your mum and dad. You're lucky you still got them around. Life is very, very short. We die all the time. Be good to your animals. I still really miss my Gussie, my beautiful baby boy, my Gus, and be good to whatever animal you've got. Please be kind to people in the world. It just makes this place a better place. It can be a very hard place. And thank you, and please do look after yourself. And thank you very much for your support. Thank you.